There's the second button. All right, here we go. Everyone's dropping into the waiting room or into the attendee room. Welcome,
Yeah.
y'all. It's towards the end of 2025 already. So crazy. And
Yes.
Thanksgiving's what? Mm,
Next week.
a week from today. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And then Giving Tuesday's like 5 days after that, 6 days after that, and then end of the year and holidays. Gosh, it's going by fast. All right. Well, we thank you for joining us for today's webinar, time of year for donations and giving and online everything. So we want to make sure you are ready. We have called this a workshop, and the reason we've called this a workshop is a little into the presentation, we're going to ask everyone to have a screen up with your website open. Probably doesn't hurt to be logged in. Um, and we're going to go through some checklisty kind of things and having you look at your setup and make sure that all makes sense to you. So we're excited about this. We got a lot to share. So I'm going to go ahead. This is our panel today. I don't, did Brian? There's Brian. Hey. Um, and we're all here. That's awesome. So Jordan and I'm Allison, are going to be presenting. We got Chrissy and Christina helping field questions that are coming through, and Brian, our account executive, is on. I always like to let him say hi to everyone.
Yep. Hello. And, as usual, if you're doing any end of year budgeting or know any organizations that are looking for any services, have them reach out to me directly, especially United Ways if you haven't gone through the rebrand. So that's my standard plug.
There you go. Thanks, Brian. All right. So our agenda, we're going to start with a know your audience. We have a question for you and want to know what you guys are using for your processors. Got some did you knows. There are always little tips and tricks that you may or may not know about. Then we are going to get into the workshop. I'm going to show you lots of examples of different platforms that folks are using because you guys are all over the place and it is kind of interesting to see what everyone's using. We're going to go through that checklist together, and that's when we're really going to want you to have your site open. Um, we'll go through creating QR codes. This is a popular time of year for it, and just in general, we get asked that question. We'll also go through some options to draw in younger donors and how they work with our mindful giving platform, and then open it up and wrap it up. And that's kind of the package for today. All right, let's do our Know Your Audience poll. If you take a look at the screen right now, what we have here, and I might have missed some, so there's an other at the bottom. What platform are you using for your donation page? So for your donation page specifically, which of these platforms are you utilizing? All right, cool. Everyone jump on in.
Yeah, there's lots of choices here as you're
Yeah,
reading
you're
them.
scrolling down. You only get to pick one. And then you might use more than one. I want you to pick the one that you're using for your main donation page, the primary donation page you have. What platform is running that? Lisa, I see your question. Raise your hand. Use the Q&A to type in questions. So, yeah, everyone's muted. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. There is a Q&A box. Find that, open that up, use that to ask some questions as we're going through this today. Um, well, oh, I guess you could have PayPal. PayPal's another, I guess. Sorry, missed that one. Um, yeah, if you're going straight to a PayPal page, a lot of times PayPal ties through like a lot of our folks who have PayPal are using it through our Civi CRM and other ways like that. So you're not wrong about that. So that's good. Oh, quite a few others. Hey, everyone who said other, would you go ahead and go to the Q&A and let us know what your others are? Maybe you're all PayPal. But again, very specifically, and it's not actually as much the processor as the tool. So like with Stripe web forms, it's the web form. And with Civi CRM, it's Civi CRM, and then you're tying it to PayPal. So there's two parts to that. There's a processor and then there's a tool. Yeah, it gets really confusing, but all right. Yeah, we got some PayPals out here. Absolutely.
I'm gonna pop all these others into the answered section so everyone can see what the others are.
Yeah, the Steve, you use that one church portal. I meant to pull yours up too. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Um, if you're curious, we have um, quite a few using the Stripe web forms as the top. Most of the others were PayPal that I saw. CiviCRM, some of you on Andar, Classy, etc. So I have some samples of a number of these that we're going to take a look at just to see what they look like for your benefit. Because if you are thinking about this, and now might not be the time to switch your plan up as you're getting towards the end of the year, but it is always interesting to see what other people are using and what they like and what they don't like about the different platforms. Let's do our did you knows. Our did you knows. Did you know? So this comes up every once in a while that your phone number can be linked so that if they're on a mobile device, they click it and it calls you. And that's actually something that some of the site reviewers will be looking for. Does your phone link? Do your emails link? And if you want to know how to do that, when you hyperlink the phone number, you just put PH colon in the number on, and it will link that phone number to call. So if they click it and they're on a mobile device, it will call. And the reason we bring this up in the donation webinar is because, one of the things about donating is people need to be able to contact you in case they have problems or whatever, and especially if they're on a mobile device. So I just want you to be aware that it is possible to link that. And we can show that if you'd like when we go into Jordan, if you can kind of add a note on that. 33% of donations is through mobile. So part of what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what does your donation page look like on mobile? How's it functioning? How's it working? And just making sure that that's easy to use as well as on desktop. But we do have a lot of folks who will be utilizing the mobile devices for this. So there are studies that say, how many clicks till I donate? 2 is considered excellent, and then it goes down. 3 is good. More than that, we got to be concerned. So do be aware of how many clicks it takes to get them through your process. And by that, I mean, like I click the word donate, I have to click to confirm and click to submit, that kind of stuff. Yeah, 2 to 3, that's fairly normal. But if I have to click donate, which takes me to a page full of choices, and then I have to click a choice, and then I have to click this and click this, you might want to make sure your process is a little bit more streamlined, because people will abandon a process if it seems too cumbersome. So the easier you make it, the better it is for you in the donation world. We do have some statistics from 2024. Americans gave I don't know how to read that, 592.5 billion. Average US donor, 64, makes 2 charitable donations a year. 80% of the younger donors expressed interest in alternative investments like impact investing. Yeah, they're a little less likely to just give the money. They like to buy things and be more tangible in their giving world. Okay. All right, let's get into our workshop. I'm going to go ahead, switch my screen up here, hopefully. There we go. This timed out. So I'm going to take just a quick moment to show you different platforms that people are using. It's an opportunity for you to just take a look and see if anything is of interest to you. This is an Andar page, and a lot of Unitedways do use Andar for their CRM system. One of the benefits of using something like this is it auto dumps into your CRM system. So that might be of interest to you. I know there's a cost associated with this, as there is with a lot of them, but something to be thinking about when you think about your donation pages. How are you getting the data into whatever CRM system you're using? Does someone have to manually key it? Can you export a CSV file and import it? Data management's an important part of your donation process as well. So you're making sure you've got everything captured. So something to think about. And that's why a number of you guys are using Andar, because it does go straight into your processor. Same with this is a Blackbaud or eTapestry type of setup. And they have embed code. So Andar, you kick out to an Andar page. This one, you can embed it in a site. If you can embed it, great. If not, that's fine. You can go off to a second site. This isn't one of our Civi CRM pages. And in the Civi CRM world, we do have several payment options. PayPal's very popular. We also have Authorize.net, and we also have Stripe as payment processor options in Civi CRM. But the tool itself is Civi CRM. And if you're utilizing this tool, just again, we're always going to want to make sure we're testing everything out and that the fields are the fields you need them to be, because that is a very customizable setup in case you didn't know that. Classy, I saw several said Classy. Here's a Classy page. It kicks out to the Classy platform. You have the one-time, you have the recurring options, your information. So it's pretty straightforward, gives you some recommendations, and it can tie it to PayPal, or you can do a credit card, or you can do an ACH. And that's always nice to have those different options. And that's one of the reasons this becomes very popular, especially when you can tie in the bank transfer option as well. So things to think about. Donor Perfect is another one that we run across. Again, the one time, the monthly, the bank account, also big, the credit card options. So you have choices in it. Adding the cover the processing fee. All right. That I think is a really important piece that if you aren't doing it, you should consider adding some kind of either flat amount or a percentage if your tool allows you to ask your donor to cover the processing fee. It just makes sense. If you're using a more expensive platform that is a processing fee and a bit of a fee, if you tie that in and give them options to cover those charges, a lot of them will do that for you. So I definitely recommend that you consider that. This is Fundraise Up. I know it's the one that's also being used by Worldwide, United Way Worldwide, that is. And this is Trident United Way. So this has a pop-up from a button on the side of their site. You have options here. One thing about this that I do know is, like, if you start to leave, it really doesn't want you to. So has little reminders, has little things, has a widget on the side that pops it up. So this one's called Fundraise Up. Give Butter, there's Give Butter, there's Give Lively, there's Give Smart. This one's Give Butter. Again, you're going to see some of the similar things. It really comes down to your preference, what works well for you, what ties to pull the data that you need, what your customers find or your donors find easiest to use. Give Smart, formerly Mobile Cause, have quite a few who utilize this method as well. I don't know if they have a processing fee coverage. I am not sure, but it's probably something you can turn on and off. I don't see it on this particular page, but that's okay. This is Harness. A number of you have that, which is again a button that can pop something up on your screen with the different amounts. They also have something called Roundup, which I know has been of interest to a lot of organizations. I can't speak to exactly how that works, but it is an option. Also, with several of these, you can create an account. So that is something that sometimes donors really, really like, is that they can log in and they can manage their donation. And like if they set up a recurring, they can log in and change the amount. They can start and stop it. They can do that kind of control over how they're donating to you. Not all platforms have that capability. It is something to consider when you're looking at platforms, because that is something that is of interest to some folks. And sometimes, like, it's optional. You don't have to, but you can. This is our Stripe web form. You've seen these. it's just a web form in our system that allows you to add a processor line right to it. It does tie to Stripe. You can cover processing fees here. This allows you to be very customizable with whatever questions and items you have on the page. It doesn't tie in other donation things. It's only Stripe. So if you want to have other features, you might put them on the side like this, like a link out to your PayPal or to an Apple Pay or to a Venmo. So that's just another way of working around some additional options. This is QGive. So as I mentioned, you guys are using a lot of different tools for your donation pieces. So our goal today is kind of not necessarily use this tool or use that tool, but in a global sense, talk about how to make sure whatever tool you're using is working for you. And the last one I have is called Vanco, and it is one that a number of our Unity churches use. It does allow them to set up different campaigns. So, all right. I think that ran through most all of them. A few other things I have here. Pop-ups. Some of you have them, some of you don't. It is an additional feature that we can add to your site for a cost. But if you ever want to have something like that, so you can turn it on and off and have a message that leads straight into a donation page, that's an option. And in this case, this was a page I was pulling up to share, and I discovered something that wasn't functioning the way it was supposed to, and I have put in a support ticket for them, and that's why it's so important to check these out. But I'm going to point this error out because it does happen sometimes. If you have a CAPTCHA on your form, especially anyone using Civi CRM, the CAPTCHAs do updates every once in a while, and those are the kind of things that you're not going to notice unless you're looking at your form. It's best for you to notice it before someone calls you and says, hey, I can't do this because I've got an error. We're getting this fixed. But I did want to point out to you that there's a lot of updates within your platforms. There's different plugins that tie to a lot of these things, like a CAPTCHA plugin that could trigger something that causes something not to work. So that's why it's super important to be testing it, I'd say monthly at least. Okay. Oh, I guess I was going to put this here. You know, I was just showing this because I was talking with someone, one of our customers gave us the code to be able to set this up. So if anyone wants to do some kind of countdown method, like to Giving Tuesday or the end of the year or whatever, reach out to your account manager and we'll help you get that set up. It's coded, so it's going to be something we would have to help you with. There's no cost for it, but I thought it was cool and I thought I would share it. It's kind of fun to see things moving and counting down like that. Okay. I'm getting ready to switch into the workshop part of this where I want everyone to pull their computer and their websites up. Hopefully you have maybe a second screen or you can squeeze over and use two screens. Jordan, have we had questions coming in while everyone gets maneuvered?
Not a ton. One about questions for a Stripe web form, but it looks like Christina was able to get an answer off to JD on that. But yeah, as we switch over, we're hoping that going through this checklist will answer a lot of the questions that you guys have when it comes to preparing your giving pages or rechecking them. But we are going to leave some time at the end if there's something we didn't cover that you have a question about. Feel free to put those in the Q&A so we can make sure we cover them. Lisa has a question. Where would the countdown feature live? On a donate landing page? And I guess
it depends on your page, but yes, it's just a code block that we can put on pretty much any page. But you know, if it's a third-party tool like Classy, we don't have that access. But if you have a Stripe web form, we could put it at the top, sure. So yeah. Let me just show our little checklist before I start going through it. I know this is small. Let me slideshow it. So we're going to do some quality assurance. We're going to talk about looking at it on browsers and mobile devices, your buttons, your contact information, etc. So yeah, I just wanted you to know where this came from. So we'll come back to this in a minute, but let's go ahead and talk through it all together. All right. Here's my page. Okay, so the first thing that I would say is, where's your donate button? Can you find it? Is it easy to view? How many times is donate on your homepage? In this case, particularly, it's end of year. Of course, I have my donate up in the top corner. I happened to decide to feature a rotor, which you don't have to, but that's your prime piece of real estate. Why not have an image about donating during donation season? Giving Tuesday rotor, a donate rotor, end of year rotor, whatever you want to do. And I also have that scheduled to come down on January 2nd. I'll give them an extra day because, people do what they do. In this particular theme, there's also an option for a donate button right here. And it also has a donate down at the bottom. Some of them will be in the footers, different places, but literally have 4 donate buttons on my homepage. Why do I have so many? Because everyone does things differently and they see things differently. So you do want to take a look and make sure is it easy to find? Where is it at? So take a look at your homepage, see if you have enough links to donations, and make a note to yourself if you feel like you probably should maybe add some more. A lot of the sites do have some kind of block similar to this, like some kind of, we call them promo banners, that could feature that. I know in the United Way world, a lot of times it says give, and that's completely fine. The more common word is donate, and those are always changeable by you. So if yours says give and you'd rather it say donate, do know that that's changeable. We certainly can change that. So take a look at your homepage. Think about what you want to do as far as making sure there's enough links from your homepage. Okay. Go ahead and go to your donation page, ideally from some kind of button, and I am logged in. What's your URL to get you there? Hopefully, and maybe it's a redirect, but hopefully if you put /donate at the end of your primary URL, that goes to your primary donation page. That's kind of a standard. That's something you want. So everyone should try that if you don't already know. Go to the top where your URL is, type in /donate at the end of it, see where it takes you. If it says page not found, then get with us to either set a redirect, because even if it's classy, it's Black Bob, it's Andar, we can set a redirect from your main site with /donate to go to another platform. But that's a very common URL. It's something that people will even try on their own because they'll just assume that that's going to work. So do make sure that that's taking you somewhere. Take a look at your donation page. Obviously, you want to make sure you have all the fields that you want. But one of the things I really liked, that Stripe example that I had shown just a minute ago, is having maybe a sidebar with additional information, like how do I mail a check in, or my link to Venmo or PayPal or other things. So do you have additional information on your donation form besides the one option that's there? And do you have a place to have it? If you do, you might consider including more information on the page. Do you offer processing fee coverage? So that would be a question on whether or not you can, but if you do or don't, it's something to consider. Do you have any kind of notes section, or do you allow any kind of comments from people? Give to memorial gifts. Do you have maybe designations to a special drive or any kind of work you're doing? All right. CiviCRM is CiviCRM. There is no sidebar. So sorry about that one. That's that and it depends on the platform. See what works here with the Stripe web form is that it's a web form, and in our system, web forms can be inside pages. But if it's a standalone other platform, which Civi CRM would be included with those, just like a Classy or something, it's not embedded within the site, so to speak. It's its own entity. Okay. Let me look at my little list. All right, let's go ahead and if you can, we want to make sure it looks good on mobile. And in this case, if you're logged in, most all of you should have a mobile toggle up at the top that allows you to see what it looks like on a phone, hopefully. So there you go. And I do see that question coming in. The question is with these Stripe forms, is there any way to do the bank transfer or have something on the sidebar for a bank transfer? Only if you have another tool that does bank transfer. Our web forms do not do bank transfer. So the ACH or the bank transfer would require you to have a platform or a tool that does it, and then you could always put it on your sidebar. So again, making sure how it looks on mobile. What we would recommend, and I'm not going to go through and test my form, is that you're testing it on mobile, that you're testing it on the homepage, and that you're testing it on every possible browser. Test it in Chrome, test it in Firefox, test it in Edge, test it in Safari. So whatever tools you have, do test it. Someone's looking at it in the iPad view. Yeah, sure. So and I will say that this preview feature is not necessarily as accurate as having an actual device in front of you as far as how it will display and look, but it is something that you do want to check out and make sure everything aligns, make sure things make sense, test it in those platforms. So make sure that the process goes through the way you're wanting it to.
And Allison, I just want to add on testing too. So when we say to test the form, we mean definitely one, test for make sure the form is functioning, right? That your donation goes through. But as you're doing this kind of QA review of your forms, on different devices, yeah, make sure there's no styling items that look like they need to be adjusted. Make sure your donate button is visible on mobile, but also look at what comes after the donor hits submit. Does the thank you page look nice? Is that styled? Are they getting an email that you need to go and relook at that verbiage? Every step of that donor process, you should know what that looks like, and you should review that so that as donors are giving, you've got a nice thank you message that they're receiving, and you know that that's working because you've tested it out. And the thank you page that shows up looks nice because you made a donation and you saw exactly what that donor is going to see.
And in a lot of platforms, and I know we can do it with our Stripe forms, you can customize your auto reply to say, "Dear Allison," my first name's in the form. If it's first name's in the form, then I can take that first name and put it in the auto reply. "Dear Allison, thank you for your donation in support of da 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 da," and give them that. Also on those forms, another thing, and on the thank you pages, thanks for those reminders, Jordan. It's not a bad idea to include your 501c3 number if people are wanting tax deductible forms. Also, statements like "we don't sell your information," that kind of stuff. Donor privacy policies. Everyone should have a donor privacy policy. That's so hard to say. Every donor should have a every donor, every website should have a donor privacy, yeah, on their site. So I can't give you advice on those because it's legal jargon. It's best to check with a lawyer or something, but you can check with other organizations on what they're using for their donor privacy policy. And we do recommend that you're having something like that on your site. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. She laughed at my inability to speak, but that's okay. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? We do recommend, of course, we just went through this with your donation options. Having recurring is always a nice thing. Um, whether or not your recurring has the ability to have them log in, create the account, and control it. If it doesn't, and in this case it does not, if I set up a recurring monthly on this Stripe form, it's going until I tell them it's not going. So it is a good idea that your auto reply, specifically for anyone who's selected recurring, lets them know what they need to do if they want to change their recurring amount or if they want to stop their recurring amount. It is kind of your responsibility to educate them about what that is. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go to the settings on this one. I know not all of you are on Stripe forms, but whatever tool you're on, you probably have an auto reply area. So do make sure you're taking a look at what your auto reply says. And I didn't look at this beforehand. It's just the data, right? That's kind of boring. It's nice to give them back what they submitted, but again, this can be customized. So I do want everyone, while you're looking at your site right now, go and see what your auto reply messages are on whatever platform you have. Are they personalized? Do they include your 501c3 number? Do they include a statement about donor privacy? Um, just things to think about as you're communicating with your donors, things they might want to know. And, it's nice if it has a little extra like, we've done this or we've done that, or you create yourself a plan to follow up with them later. What are you doing with your donor data? We were talking about that. How do you access your donor data? Do you have the ability to download a CSV file? Does it import it into your system? Do you have to key it? Those are just decision-making things for you, but you do want to make sure that this data that you're capturing is you're doing something with it and it's just not sitting in the device that's collecting it. So those are just reminders on that. Hold on, let's see. Oh, one other thing I'm going to mention is also, in that whole donor privacy area, you might consider having a question asking if they want to be anonymous or if they're a leadership donor, how they want their name written. So some of those kind of questions keep in mind. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm looking at my checklist. The other thing that we had on the checklist, and we did want you to check it in different browsers. I'm not going to run and pull up a bunch of browsers right now, but obviously you know what that means. So different browsers, different devices, take a look at it and everything you got. Another important thing that we want to make sure is that your homepage on mobile can easily find the donate button as well. So in this particular theme, it's in this button right here. It's also on my rotor, and then it's also on the bottom. But a lot of our themes, a lot of our designs have like a red donate button at the top. And I've seen that fall off before, so I'm bringing it to your attention because I want you to look at your website on a phone and make sure that donate button is easy to find on a phone. Make sure you can find it. Okay. Um, in addition, we talked about the whole contact us, your information out here. So the contact us page, if it's up to date, let me show you how this phone number works. Why not?
I'm gonna suggest that.
Yeah, because I figured that was something people didn't know or catch. So if you have a phone number on a page, you can hyperlink it. And what you do is you just put PH colon and then the phone number 866. This is my phone number, by the way. It's my direct work line. And check it and save. So now if someone is to click that, I'll actually do a call, which I don't want to do because mine will pull up a phone in Zoom. So yes, that will make a hot link. For emails, if you didn't know this as well, similar to what I just did with phones. So the phone you use a PH, With emails, although a lot of them hot link automatically, but sometimes you have a word like you have email Allison. If you have email Allison and you don't want to lay the email on the page, you can hyperlink it by doing mail colon and then the address. So that's what you would do to hyperlink it, the whole address. And that's kind of a nice thing to do sometimes when you don't want to put the actual email on the page so bots are pulling it and all that stuff. You might just say email so and so and highlight that and hyperlink it. In our world, to hyperlink, you need to do mail colon. To hyperlink a phone number, you need to do PH colon. So that might be new for a few people. Okay. But do make sure that your contact information is up to date. Everyone should have a contact us page on their site. Sometimes we see them under like about us. A lot of times they're a top one up on the top row, maybe off on the top right. They should also be featured on the bottom. Check the bottom of your site. Make sure that your all this information is correct. Sometimes people update a page, but they forget about the footer. And this is really an easier area to see on a phone. So, again, make sure all of those details and information are accurate so that people know how to reach out to you. If they're having trouble donating, they might contact you. All right. Did I miss anything, Jordan?
I don't think so. I'm just taking a look at our checklist as well. Maybe I'll just add a little bit, as you're going through this checklist, as you're looking at your donation pages, just make a note to think about that donor acquisition. We talked about it a little bit. How are you getting your data into your CRM? Do you have a plan to thank your donors? Are you checking those emails going out and the thank you page? Do you have a plan to re-engage donors later on so that you can turn them into, a recurring donor? And are you capturing metrics that will let you create an impact report from the giving that you'll receive this holiday season? Sometimes there might be some specific questions that you want to make sure are on a donation form so that you can get information from the donor or you can capture whatever that metric is. So thinking about that a little bit will help let you know what you should have on that donation form, that's important questions.
Okay. And we've had someone share that they use TEL colon for a phone number, not PH colon. So I've used PH colon and it's worked fine, but TEL colon is another way to do it. So check it out. If it doesn't work one way, try the other. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and it's Jordan's turn.
Perfect. All right, hopefully everyone's seeing my screen. Okay, so I wanted to go over one question that we get asked a lot is all about QR codes. Do we have can the site make a QR code? How can we generate a QR code? So I wanted to go over actually making one with you guys. I can show one in Canva. I know a lot of you guys have Canva as a tool, and then we also can show another free option that we can find. So in Canva, I just pulled up a custom 500 by 500 square. And when you are in Canva, on the left-hand side, there are some apps that you can search. And if you type in QR code generator, you're going to get a whole big list of ones that pop up. Some of them are going to be free. Some of them are going to require that then log in if you have a subscription to them. This QR code generator one right here is free to use. And all it's going to ask for is the URL of your donation page. And when you put that in, it will give you a QR code. And this, if scanned, will link directly to the URL that I entered over on the left-hand side. So QR codes are such a great, quick way to get donors to your donation page very quickly. QR codes are meant to be put on physical materials. It does not make sense to put a QR code directly on your website because that's where you're trying to lead people to. So if you have any type of marketing materials, any mail that's going out or flyers that you're handing out at events or at any type of charitable event that you're going to, A quick flyer with your QR code is the quickest way to get a donor directly to your donation page. They don't even have to think about, trying to remember what your URL was. They can just scan and get there very quickly. So I definitely recommend getting these created. You can even uh, create some that are a little more customized. There was another one I found that gave you the option to put your logo inside of it too.
Mhm.
I gotta find our one each logo. And you can play around with the colors that you'll see on them too. So just some examples to make them even a little more personalized. So that's how we can do that in Canva. If you don't have Canva or you're not used to using Canva, I Googled free QR code generator. There's lots and lots of options down there. I chose this QR code generator.com.
And
And it's
Julie is the one right below it. She said QR code monkey she likes. She can put the logo in. That's one right after that. So
perfect. One right below. Yeah. Thanks for that, Jill. So a lot of these, again, they're going to ask you for your website URL, and they'll generate a code that you can then download and put on any marketing materials. You may run into some that want you to create a membership, but you should be able to find some good free ones like this one or on Canva that'll help you get a QR code created. All right. The hopefully there weren't any other questions on QR codes. I don't see any. So I'm going to jump into one of the next topics that we wanted to talk about, which was just how to address younger donors that we're seeing that are looking for more tangible ways to give online. So I wanted to share and talk a little bit about our mindful giving platform because it's such a great, easy tool to add into your donation options for donors. This is a demo site we've set up. We've branded it for a United Way, but I wanted to show what it could look like for you to have these different campaigns up and running. So we've got some generalized, a Stuff the Bus campaign that you can set up and run. We've got a Christmas Adopt a Family toy donations. What this will do is allow you to create a list of products that donors can come to. They can shop like any other online shopping experience, and really feel like their donation is, they can see exactly what it's going to do, right? They can say, I purchased, these toys and it went to this program specifically within this organization, which is a really cool way to just engage with donors during the holiday giving season. There's, we've got this one with different age categories. So if donors want to be able to choose, an age group for children, they are able to do that. We also did a Giving Tuesday campaign because that is approaching very quickly. Just a couple of ideas that you can throw in here if you're working with any of your partner agencies. You could have, we have an animal drive shelter with toys or shelter needs that you can throw up for a Giving Tuesday campaign. You could also run a winter coat drive here with hand warmers and blankets and adults and children's size coats. We put also a fund to cause section. I think one of the really neat things about our mindful giving platform is that, yes, you can bring in products from Amazon to help make that fulfillment process very easy, but you can also add things in here, almost like a designation field. So these obviously aren't going to go to Amazon to be fulfilled, but you can create them like they were a product for a donor to see. So we've got Dolly Parton Imagination Library. If someone wants to donate a year of free books for one child, they can add that in as a $30 donation. If someone wanted to feed an individual for an entire month at the soup kitchen, that is a donation option. You could set up a Thanksgiving meal or care and food for an animal at the shelter. So other ways to utilize the platform here. And you can also add options for just monetary donations. So if you want to, give donors the option to be able to donate products, but also still have the option to donate, just a monetary donation as well, those are able to be added very easily to the platform. Creating this was very quick. I took me about 30 minutes to get two of the campaigns set up with products added. So it's a very quick setup process. And it's very cool to see the impact here. So one of the things I did want to share, we did work with Bergen Volunteers back at the beginning of November. They launched an emergency food list campaign with their Mindful Giving site, and they within I think 24 hours had received almost, I think just shy of $4,000 worth of donations through the platform because donors were able to come right to their site. They could see all of the list of food products that they needed. They made their donations, and all of these items shipped directly to Bergen volunteers. And then the plus side for them is that they now have all of that donor information. They can reach back out, they can thank those donors, they can re-engage with them later. So that's some other benefits. So I wanted to share a little bit of the other side of a donation page. So this was Bergen volunteers. Blue Star Families also is a veteran-based company. They've got some different, Star Stripes and Holiday Wishes campaigns. They've got some Thanksgiving-related campaigns set up. Make a Wish as well. They're doing a toy drive here, so just ways to get donors, seeing physical gifts that they can give during the holiday season is always a popular one. Same with Ronald McDonald House. This is Greater Charlotte's wish list. They've got some holiday campaigns. They're breaking them out by age. They have an urgent needs campaign that's separate from that.
So I'll just throw something in here.
Yeah.
So if you have an Amazon wish list, you need to consider looking at this platform. There is a big difference. And the big difference is you get the donor data. Because if someone gives on your wish list, they're giving to Amazon, they don't get a tax deduction. Two, you don't know who they are. This is forging relationships with people, and you don't have to just use Amazon products. You can sell t-shirts, you can do those funded causes. So this allows you to have such a better engagement, and we know our young donors are loving this platform. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you are an Amazon wishlist user, you need to be considering making a shift. That's
Yeah. If you are, interested, please connect with your account manager. The only requirements are an Amazon business account and Stripe as your payment processor, which I know many of you have a Stripe account. It is a really quick turnaround piece. So if anyone is interested in getting them set up, it's not too late to get this set up for the holiday season. So just reach out to our team. Okay, I'm going to jump back to our slide deck now. We wanted to kind of leave it open. I know we've covered a lot when it comes to online giving and donation pages and what to check for. We do have our checklist up here, which I will, make big again. If you want to take a screenshot, this is a great screenshot to take so you can go back and check those pages. But if there are any other questions or something that you are wanting to know, now is the time to put those in the Q&A box. We can cover some more workshop style items. We can dive into a web form if you need. If you've got questions, please throw them in there. All right.
Kimberly, yes. Mindful giving is not Amazon. It's very much different than Amazon. Mindful giving is a donation platform that can use Amazon products if you want, but doesn't have to. So, yeah. It's just solving the problem that Wishlist had. Wishlist, the problem was, like I said, you didn't know the donor data and they weren't giving tax deductible donations. It really makes the relationship building and it gives you more options. So, yeah, it's good. Let's see here.
Give everyone a minute while we're waiting for those questions to come in. Hopefully you guys are already starting to go through your donation pages. And if you are, I'm hoping that these were good reminders to go through as you're doing a review. I think Allyson mentioned it's good to check these at least once a month. Pull up your donation page, take a look at it, make sure all the verbiage is exactly what you need it to say. Run a live purchase through it to make sure it's functioning. It's just a good best practice to have to always make sure that donation page is updated for donors coming to your site. Well, I don't see any in there yet. So maybe we will move on. We can do our feedback poll. If any do pop up, please put them in there now. We have a few more minutes, but um, we'll jump to our feedback poll.
All right, here we go.
Okay, this is all about planning for next year. We are starting to plan out our webinar schedule for 2026, which seems wild because I feel like we just started 2025, but we'd love to hear from you guys. What are you looking to see in these webinars? Is there a topic that would be helpful so that we can make sure we include that in our schedule? We're asking you to pick your top three choices here. This will help us kind of pick and choose which ones are maybe the most needed. If you don't see a topic in here, please throw it in the Q&A chat. We'd love to see that as well. But we want to make sure that these are still something that's really useful to you guys. We enjoy having you every month. I love seeing all the same names, and we want to keep these, as to be the most beneficial to you guys as we can. So we'll give everyone a little bit more time to fill those out.
This is when we see who's paying attention. All right, guys. Oh, and yeah, we were asking for top three just because I don't know, I check them all. So this is good. This is good. Thank you guys so much. All right. Let me go ahead and end it. Last second. Oh, someone else popping in. Okay, here we go. Just so you guys can see.
Yeah, page layouts is a big one.
Advanced and advanced. I do think a number of you who come to our workshops regularly or our webinars regularly are some of our more advanced users. So we will work on doing some more advanced ones, but we have basics too. We'll work on it all. All right. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. That's very helpful for us as we get into the planning.
Okay. Stop share.
All right. Let's jump to our wrap up. I know we've got a few more minutes here, but we will jump into some closing details. Just as a reminder, we do record all of our webinars. The recording gets posted to our knowledge base about 24 hours afterwards, so you can go back and rewatch any previous webinars. I think we have almost 3 years worth of webinar topics now. If you have any support ticket requests, like if forward slash or if slash donate does not redirect to your donation page, you can get a ticket in for that redirect to be created. If you are missing that mobile responsiveness toggle to be able to look at different device sizes when you're logged into your site, if you don't see that there, that's something you can reach out to our support team with. You can also reach out to your account managers. We encourage booking time with them on a regular basis to go through your site to make sure if you need some more training, we can get that to you. If you've got questions or just need to bounce ideas off of them, they are always around and available. And then looking ahead next month in December, we are doing a 2026 website prep focused webinar to get your website ready for the new year. In January, I think our focus will be an applications review there, so more on the web form side of the Drupal sites. And then we will build out the rest of the year based off some of the feedback that you submitted to us today. So more information on what more of 2026's webinar schedule looks like to come.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending. Hope this has been helpful. Go test your donation page. Go give yourself money.
Yes. Yeah, thanks everyone.
All right. Thank you. Take care.